All right, let's dive deep into goal setting today with Brian Tracy's book, Goals. It's like a masterclass in achieving success.
Oh, yeah, this book doesn't mess around. Tracy gets right to the point.
He does. Right off the bat, he says, success is goals and all else is commentary. I mean, wow.
It's a pretty bold statement, but he backs it up with solid evidence.
Like that Harvard MBA study he talks about.
Right, those grads who wrote down their goals, they made like 10 times more than everyone else.
It really makes you think about the power of writing things down.
Mm.
Maybe it's the commitment or just getting clear on what we want.
It's probably a bit of both. But Tracy pushes us even further.
He does. He's like, what would you want if you knew you couldn't fail?
Such a great question. It forces us to dream big and ditch those self-imposed limits.
He compares the mind to a heat-seeking missile, relentlessly going after whatever target we set.
So we got to make sure we're aiming at the right things, right?
Absolutely. But life can get in the way. It's easy to get caught up in distractions and lose sight of those big dreams.
It happens to everyone. Tracy calls it rationalizing, making excuses for not taking action.
Yeah, and he's not a fan.
Definitely not. He
Yeah.
stresses taking full responsibility for our lives. That's where his golden triangle comes in. Connecting responsibility, control, and happiness.
It makes sense when you think about it. If we're in control, we're more likely to feel fulfilled.
Exactly. But it's also about constantly evaluating our commitments. He uses this term zero-based thinking,
What's that?
basically questioning everything we're doing and asking ourselves, is this really helping me reach my goals?
Ah, I see. So it's about being honest with ourselves and making changes if something isn't working.
Right. We need to make sure we're building our lives on solid values, not just chasing after things that won't last.
And speaking of values, Tracy really gets into how they shape our actions and affect our success.
He talks about 5 levels of personality values are at the core, influencing our beliefs and how we behave.
It's like if we try to live a life that goes against our values, it's going to be a constant uphill battle.
For sure, there's going to be this inner conflict, and finding real happiness will be tough.
It reminds me of that Stephen Covey quote, make sure as you're climbing the ladder of success, it's leaning against the right building.
I love that quote. What's the point of reaching the top if it's the wrong destination?
Totally agree. But
Right.
how do we figure out what the right building is for us?
Tracy says to look at our actions, especially when we're under pressure.
So when things get tough, our true priorities come out.
Exactly. But even if we know our values and have big dreams, sometimes we get in our own way.
You mean with our own beliefs?
Yeah. Tracy talks about the law of belief. We create our reality based on what we believe.
So if we're constantly thinking negative thoughts, those thoughts become self-fulfilling prophecies.
It can work both ways, though. If we believe in ourselves and our abilities, we're more likely to succeed.
It's both empowering and a little scary at the same time, right?
Yeah.
We have to be careful about the stories we tell ourselves.
We do. He even mentions successful people who were told they weren't good enough.
Like Albert Einstein. I remember reading he wasn't considered that bright when he was younger.
Exactly. Imagine if he believed those people. We might have missed out on his incredible contributions.
It just shows the power of challenging those negative thoughts. Tracy even says to ask ourselves, what if the opposite of my limiting beliefs were true?
Such a powerful way to reframe our thinking. It helps us break free from those self-imposed limitations and open up to new possibilities.
Once we've cleared those mental hurdles, it's time to get to the exciting part, creating our ideal future.
That's where the fun begins. Tracy encourages us to envision our perfect life 5 years from now. Everything. Family, finances, health, and how we're contributing to the world.
It's like painting a detailed picture of our dream life. And not just seeing it, but really feeling it.
Exactly. But he makes it clear that visualization is only the first step.
Right. We need to pair it with action, actually taking those steps to turn those visions into reality.
He calls it action orientation.
And he tells this story about a sales manager who insisted his new recruits buy Cadillacs, even if they couldn't really afford them.
I remember that one. Bold move, right?
It was. But his logic was that it would change their self-image and make them believe in their ability to earn more money.
It's a great example of taking concrete action to align with the person you want to become.
So we've got the vision, we've challenged those limiting beliefs, and we're ready to take action. But how do we actually make it happen?
That's where Tracy introduces his 7 keys to goal setting. You've got desire, belief, writing it down, making a plan, taking action, setting deadlines, and persistence.
Each key is like a building block, essential for turning those dreams into something real.
They are. And he's serious about writing those goals down.
He mentions a study where people who wrote their goals down were way more likely to achieve them.
Yeah, like 10 times more likely. There's something powerful about putting those dreams on paper.
It's like making a contract with ourselves.
Hmm,
And even though it might seem small, it helps us solidify our commitment and make those goals feel more real.
totally. Writing is just the start, though. We need to break those goals down into manageable steps and celebrate our progress along the way.
It's like that saying, a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step.
Exactly. And each step we take builds momentum and keeps us moving forward.
Setting deadlines, even if they need to be adjusted later, can also be really helpful.
They create structure and give us a target to aim for.
And then there's persistence.
Ah, persistence. That's where things get real.
Tracy makes it clear that setbacks are inevitable. It's how we handle them that determines our success.
He shares so many inspiring stories of people who faced countless challenges and never gave up.
It's a good reminder that the path to success isn't always straight. There can be bumps along the way.
Oh, for sure. But if we can learn from those bumps, we can come back even stronger.
He encourages us to cultivate that never-give-up attitude, build resilience, and see challenges as opportunities for growth.
It's about trusting in ourselves, our abilities, and the process, even when things get tough.
So we've covered a lot of ground so far. From the power of belief to taking action, it's been quite a journey. But we're just getting started.
Absolutely. We're about to dive even deeper into some specific areas where we can apply all this awesome stuff.
Let's kick things off with finances. Ready to unlock the secrets to financial freedom.
Let's do it. I'm excited to see what Tracy has to say about creating a life of abundance. Tracy talks about this cool idea called solution orientation.
Okay, solution orientation. What's that all about?
It's about focusing on finding solutions instead of dwelling on the problems.
I like that. So instead of getting stuck in the negativity, we're actively looking for ways to move forward.
Right. He suggests asking ourselves, why haven't I achieved this yet?
That's a good question to ask. It can help us figure out what's holding us back.
Exactly. And he encourages us to dig deeper. Don't just stop at the surface level. Keep asking what else could be the problem until you find the root cause.
It's like peeling back the layers of an onion.
Perfect analogy. He uses this example with sales analysis. So let's say low profits are the problem.
Okay, low profits. What else could it be?
Maybe it's high expenses or ineffective marketing or even not paying enough attention to your customers.
It could be a whole bunch of things.
It could. And finding the real problem is crucial because it determines the solution.
Right. You can't fix something if you don't know what's broken.
Exactly. It's like a doctor diagnosing an illness. The treatment depends on understanding the underlying cause.
Now, something else Tracy talks about is the impact of our social circle.
Oh, yeah. He uses this great phrase, flying with the eagles.
So if we want to reach new heights, we need to surround ourselves with people who are already soaring.
Exactly. He's not saying to ditch all your friends, but be mindful of who you're spending time with.
Because their energy and habits can rub off on us.
They can. So if someone is constantly bringing you down or discouraging your dreams, it might be time to create some distance.
It's not about being mean, but protecting your own energy and growth.
Right. And on the flip side, he gives advice on how to connect with people who inspire you.
Like attending industry events, joining organizations, reaching out to people you admire.
All great ideas. It's about building a network that supports your ambitions.
So we've got the right people around us, but we also need a plan.
Absolutely. Tracy is a big believer in planning. Proper prior planning prevents poor performance.
That's a good one. And planning doesn't have to be overwhelming. It can be broken down into manageable steps.
Right. Start by figuring out the specific actions, setting deadlines, and anticipating potential obstacles.
Kind of like building a house. You need blueprints before you start laying bricks.
Exactly. And make sure to involve everyone who's affected by your plan.
That's a good point. Getting everyone on board from the start can make things a lot smoother.
For sure. And remember to be realistic with your planning.
Tracy tells this funny story about a manager who wanted to send out a newsletter, but didn't factor in the time or resources needed for design and printing.
I remember that one. It's a good reminder to think things through and not get carried away by enthusiasm.
We have to be practical.
Absolutely. Realistic planning also means being flexible.
Because things don't always go according to plan, right?
Nope. And even the best plan won't help if we don't manage our time effectively.
Time management. That's something I'm always working on.
It's a constant battle for most of us. But Tracy has some helpful techniques.
Like what?
Well, he talks about the 80-20 rule.
The 80-20 rule. What's that?
It suggests that 80% of our results come from just 20% of our efforts.
So the key is to figure out which activities are giving us the biggest bang for our buck.
Right, and focus our energy on those.
So it's about working smarter, not just harder.
Exactly. Another method he recommends is the ABCDE method.
A, B, C, D, E. Okay, tell me more about that one.
So it involves assigning priorities to your tasks. A being the most important and urgent. E being tasks you can delegate or eliminate.
Ah, I see. So it's a way to prioritize our to-do list and make sure we're tackling the most important things first.
Right. It's about focusing on what truly matters and letting go of things that aren't moving the needle.
Tracy also emphasizes single handling.
Oh, yeah. Tackling one task at a time and seeing it through to completion before moving on to the next.
I'm so guilty of trying to multitask all the time. It never really works, though, does it?
It rarely does. Focusing on one thing at a time is usually more efficient.
And less stressful, too, right?
Absolutely. It helps us avoid feeling overwhelmed.
Tracy also suggests asking ourselves 5 key questions throughout the day.
Ah, those 5 questions. They're like a compass keeping us aligned with our goals.
It's easy to lose sight of the big picture when we're caught up in the day-to-day grind.
So true. Those questions help us stay focused and make sure we're moving in the right direction.
Okay, now this next technique is a little different. Tracy calls it the 10-goal exercise.
Oh, I love this one. It involves writing down your 10 most important goals every day.
But there's a twist, right?
There is. You write them as if they've already been achieved.
So instead of writing, I want to start my own business, I'd write, I run a successful and fulfilling business.
Exactly. It's about imprinting those desires on our subconscious mind.
It's like planting seeds of success.
I love that analogy. And if you find yourself struggling to write a particular goal,
What does that mean?
it could be a sign that you don't truly desire it, or maybe there's some subconscious resistance holding you back.
So it's a good way to check in with ourselves and see if our goals are truly aligned with what we want.
Exactly. And then there's visualization, which goes hand in hand with writing.
Tracy is a big advocate for visualization, creating those vivid mental pictures of ourselves achieving our goals.
The more senses we engage, the better. Sight, sound, touch, even smell.
It's about making those visualizations as real as possible.
Right. It's like creating a movie in our minds where we're the stars of the show.
He even suggests making a vision board,
Oh, vision boards are awesome.
a visual representation of our goals with images and affirmations.
Exactly. It's a great way to keep those aspirations front and center.
Now, Tracy also talks about something called the superconscious mind.
That's where things get really interesting.
It's that realm of intuition and inspiration, those aha moments that seem to come out of nowhere.
He suggests that by focusing on our goals, asking for guidance, and then letting go, we can tap into this incredible source of wisdom and creativity.
It's like taking our conscious minds off the clock and letting our subconscious work its magic.
Exactly. And paying attention to synchronicities.
Those little coincidences that seem to guide us in the right direction.
It's about being open to unexpected opportunities and trusting that the universe has our back.
Even when we don't fully understand how things are unfolding.
Trust the process.
Okay, but even with all the best laid plans and a little help from the universe, we still need one crucial ingredient: persistence.
Persistence is key. It's what keeps us going when the going gets tough.
It's that unwavering determination to succeed no matter what obstacles we face.
Tracy tells amazing stories about people who persevered through incredible adversity and achieved their dreams.
It's inspiring to see how far people can go when they refuse to give up.
Right. It's a reminder that the path to success is rarely a straight line.
There are going to be setbacks and challenges along the way, but it's our ability to bounce back that makes all the difference.
He talks about developing that never give up attitude, cultivating resilience, and seeing challenges as opportunities for growth.
It's about trusting in ourselves, our abilities, and the process, even when things don't go as planned.
And remembering that we're not alone on this journey.
Right. We need support and guidance from others who are on a similar path.
That's a perfect segue into the next part of our deep dive.
Let's explore the power of relationships and how they can help us reach our full potential.
I'm ready when you are.
We've covered so much ground already. It's amazing how many different aspects there are to goal setting.
We have, from figuring out what we truly want to overcoming obstacles and managing our time. But I think you're right. This next part might be the most important.
I think so too. Tracy dedicates a whole chapter to the power of relationships.
He does. And how they can impact our success. He calls it the law of association. The idea that the people we spend time with shape our thoughts and beliefs and ultimately our actions.
Makes sense. We tend to pick up habits and mindsets from those around us, don't we?
We do. So if we're hanging out with negative people or people who don't support our goals, it's going to be tough to stay motivated and on track.
He even says we need to be selective about our relationships.
He does. He encourages us to distance ourselves from people who drain our energy or hold us back.
It's not about being mean, but about protecting our own well-being and growth.
Exactly. We can't pour from an empty cup. Sometimes we need to step away from relationships that aren't serving us.
So it's about letting go of the negative and focusing on the positive.
Right. And actively nurturing those relationships that lift us up and support our goals.
Like offering help, expressing appreciation, being a good listener, encouraging our friends.
All those things. And expanding our network, too.
So attending events, joining organizations, reaching out to people we admire.
Exactly. It's about building a community of like-minded individuals who inspire us to be our best selves.
So we've got this incredible support system. We have a plan. We're managing our time. But there's still one piece of the puzzle missing.
Discipline.
Exactly. All the planning and motivation in the world won't get us anywhere if we don't have the discipline to follow through.
Tracy compares discipline to a muscle.
So the more we use it, the stronger it gets.
Exactly. And he gives some practical tips for developing self-discipline.
Like what?
Creating a routine, setting clear boundaries, holding ourselves accountable to our commitments, and delaying gratification.
Ah, that's a tough one.
It is. But it's about resisting those immediate pleasures and focusing on the long-term rewards of achieving our goals.
It's about investing in our future, even if it means sacrificing some fun in the present.
Right. And he suggests something called negative visualization.
Negative visualization. What's that?
Imagining the negative consequences of not achieving our goals.
So it's kind of like using fear as a motivator.
In a way, yes. It can be a powerful way to stay focused and avoid those self-sabotaging behaviors.
We've explored so much in this deep dive, from the power of belief to the importance of persistence. It's been an incredible journey.
It has. And we're not quite done yet. Let's wrap things up with a 10-point summary of the key takeaways from Brian Tracy's goals.
Okay, hit me with those golden nuggets of wisdom.
All right, here we go. Number 1, success is all about setting and achieving goals.
Without goals, we're just drifting through life aimlessly.
Number 2, our thoughts have incredible power. What we believe we become.
So choose your thoughts wisely. Focus on what you want, not what you don't want.
Number 3, take responsibility for your life. Don't blame others or make excuses.
Own your choices and your outcomes.
Number 4, make sure your actions align with your values and beliefs.
It's about living a life that feels authentic and meaningful to you.
Number 5, challenge those limiting beliefs that are holding you back.
And replace them with empowering beliefs that support your dreams.
Number 6, create a clear vision of your ideal future.
Think big, be specific, and really feel what it would be like to achieve those goals.
Number 7, remember the 7 keys to goal setting. Desire belief, write it down, make a plan, take action, set deadlines, and persist.
It's a simple but powerful formula for success.
Number 8, always be learning and growing.
Never stop expanding your knowledge and skills.
Number 9, build strong relationships with people who support you and inspire you.
Your tribe is your lifeline. Choose them wisely.
And number 10, take care of yourself.
Yeah.
Prioritize your physical, mental, and emotional health.
You can't pour from an empty cup. Make self-care a non-negotiable.
There you have it, 10 powerful principles to guide you on your journey to success.
What an incredible deep dive. I feel like I have a whole new toolkit for achieving my goals.
Me too. It's been a pleasure exploring this material with you.
Remember, listeners, the journey starts with a single step. What will you do today to move closer to your dreams? That's all for this deep dive. Until next time, keep striving for greatness and never stop exploring the incredible potential that lies within you.